PRI is the performance racing industry. People know PRI as the world's largest racing trade show. It takes place in December every year in Indianapolis. We're also one of the largest racing media companies in the world. And most recently, we are the membership program that will represent the racing industry going forward. PRI was started in 1986 by Steve Lewis, a successful entrepreneur that loved racing and was able to bring together manufacturers into a really hardcore racing trade show. It bounced around from city to city in the 80s, found a great home in Indianapolis, moved to Orlando for about 10 years, and then 12 years ago, Sema bought PRI and brought it in-house as the racing division of Sema. Sema Special Equipment Market Association started in 1962 really to protect all of the activities in the aftermarket automotive industry. And we've found a great home here in Indianapolis. Part of that purchase was to bring it back to Indianapolis, and the state of Indiana has been an incredible partner in this venture. And we don't see any reason why we would leave Indianapolis. It is the home of racing, and certainly here at Speedway, we will take advantage of all of that. Yeah, so the PRI trade show is really the core of the brand. And in December, we bring 65,000 attendees, 1,000 exhibitors, and the business of racing takes place here in Indianapolis. And countless businesses have grown from that PRI activity, and all these deals get done. If you're manufacturing parts, if you're marketing the parts, if you're a trade show or a sanctioning body, or if you own a racetrack, PRI is the place where all of this happens. And it's great to see people come together, put deals together on the floor here in the Indianapolis Convention Center, and racing continues into the future in America. So the Sema Activities, we know Sema as really the largest trade show in the world last year in Vegas, but Sema also operates to protect the automotive aftermarket in many ways. So while PRI is very focused on the racing industry, Sema will also alert their members about license plate changes or changes in the status of collector cars or anything that could affect the automotive aftermarket. 2 years ago, the Sema Board of Directors began the Pri Initiative, and there were several elements to that workforce. Part of it was to hire a president and to set up an office here in the Indianapolis area. And quite frankly, it's the perfect location here in Speedway. The board wanted PRI to be located in the heart of the racing community. The show draws heavily from the Midwest, but here in Speedway, the PRI membership headquarters allows us to interact with this great community. We've got some great neighbors right down the end of the street, and the Penske organization helped us as well. They said, look, we're going to continue building out this area. Great place to be. We've loved it. We bought the facility in December, but certainly in May, we had our board of directors here. We had our grand opening event, and you could really see why this is the heart of racing, and very excited to be here in Speedway. Yeah, for the new PRI membership headquarters, we were looking for some specific assets for a building. We wanted really good curb appeal and a really logical location, but we wanted great open floor office spacing for people to really enjoy this facility. And we also needed a place where we could work on cars, and a nice open, well-lit area where our creative folks could get in there, tell the story, capture everything that goes on in making a race car or a race part, and really share that with the world. So this facility has all of that. We're looking forward to building out a membership lounge. We've got great partners here with Bell and Herder Racing, so glad to have those folks on board in the building. But yeah, big things here in Speedway as PRI builds this thing out. In the PRI membership headquarters, you're going to find a talented staff of professionals around the racing industry. We've got marketing and sales here strictly for membership. We've also got our benefits manager here, and those folks work on building assets and building a program around the membership for the racing industry. So we'll broadcast what benefits we have. We'll also talk about the needs of those members and activities that we've had going on. We'll be adding to the staff, and then in the future state of this building, we'll have a content factory right here in the garage. So you'll be able to produce videos, produce podcasts, and our manufacturers and our membership partners will be able to come here, tell their story, put cars together, teach a next generation of racing advocates and participants, or wherever the racing industry takes us, PRI will be there. So most recently, PRI has really invested heavily in the media side of the racing industry. So folks know PRI for our monthly magazine. PRI Magazine, it's a great publication. It's the world's leading trade show magazine dedicated to racing. In the last couple of years, PRI has invested heavily in digital platforms. So of course we have performanceracing.com, a website, but all the social platforms have gotten a lot of attention from the PRI Road Tour and our social media staff. We use Twitter for political activity, and even TikTok to reach that audience, and LinkedIn, we're there as well. So you'll find PRI content on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. When PRI had to cancel the trade show in 2020, we looked at many solutions to reach the motorsports industry in other ways than just the trade show. Some folks went to a virtual solution. What we did was we decided to take the PRI show on the road. And quite literally, we put the world's best content creators in a van, and we created the PRI Road Tour. And we sent those folks out, we met with our exhibitors, allowed them to tell their story, launch new product, tell their background, just like they were on the floor of the PRI show, but it was in their shop or in their headquarters. And that content, with over 150 stops in the last 2 years, has really propelled the PRI brand. It's reshaped PRI, but it's also reshaped the racing industry. So at the end of 2022, we're on track to have over 300 million media impressions, and that will drive interest for many years on all the activities in the racing industry, if you're making cars, racing cars, or any other form of business in the racing industry, and that's what PRI does. There are hours and hours of videos to explore on our YouTube channel, and that team's also been very active politically. 2 weeks ago, we were in Capitol Hill. We brought Richard Petty in to lobby for the RPM Act, and those same production folks are able to quickly turn a video on brand and knowing the voice that we want to our racing industry and get the news out quickly on our social channels. PRI covers the entire racing industry, from F1 and IndyCar all the way down to the grassroots family putting together their weekend race car. Our demographics suggest that drag racing and street performance is the most heavily populated area in our community, but a lot of late model folks, a lot of circle track folks, drifters, road racers, anybody that can take advantage of the latest and greatest in the racing industry, that's what PRI is. PRI is going to become more than just a trade show and way bigger than the current state of our media side of the company. The membership is really the future of the racing industry, and we look to bring all of the tribes of the racing industry together so into one common voice, and that brand will be PRI to represent us both, to help with the businesses of racing, but also protect on the advocacy side, and that's where the future is going to lead PRI. So in the last few years, there have been many threats to the racing industry. Most recently, we're seeing government overreach by the EPA placing fines on racing manufacturers of parts and race cars. And PRI, with our parent company SEMA and our DC lobbying team in Washington, DC, are working to represent the racing industry to make sure that we can continue racing in the United States for decades to come. Yeah, the most important thing I want people to know is that PRI is here to be a part of the Speedway community, and you can get involved. So if you want to go to performanceracing.com, you can register to go to the trade show there, or you can register to be a member of PRI. Memberships for individuals start at $40. You can get involved and you can be part of all the activity that we have going on at PRI to save the race cars. PRI membership is a brand new program. We're just a year into this, and we've got a lot of benefits that we're putting together. But right now, it's about the communication of what's going on and get people really informed. Now, we've had great events here at this facility. The grand opening was just an awesome event. Speedway officials were involved. We had about 300 or 400 guests that came in and enjoyed the community and being able to talk about the future of the racing industry together. But we're putting big manufacturers on our benefits list. So we're looking at new vehicle discounts, we're looking at travel discounts, we're taking away any barrier for a racer to get to the track. Consumables like tire companies and oil companies are getting involved. In addition to the advocacy side of protecting racing, there's a financial benefit to being a member of PRI, and we're going to be doing a lot more of that here. So, we have started reaching out to the community and letting them know PRI is here. So you'll find us with our PRI membership display on Main Street recently, over at the racetrack, and then at several events across the country. And you're going to see more of that as we do activities in the building. We're going to host community groups here just to let them know what we're here to do and to make sure we're fully supporting the community of Speedway.